UFOs are real, burgeoning, and not going away. I am your intrepid host, L.A. Marzulli. Welcome to a special edition of UFO Update. This one is in regard to the so-called aliens in the backyard in Las Vegas. I have always believed that this was a true sighting. We'll get into that and so much more. But first, a word from our trusted sponsor. Hey folks, L.A. Marzulli here. Groceries, rent, and gas aren't the only bills rising to unaffordable levels. Air conditioning bills are reaching record highs. As summer approaches with scorching temperatures from heat waves, a shocking 20 million households are behind on their power bills. Folks, make yourself happy and cool as I am this summer by visiting www.easysummercool.com. That's once again, www.easysummercool.com, or simply click the link in the description for 60% off today with a 60-day risk-free guarantee and fast USA shipping. Check it out, folks. Once again, easysummercool.com. So I'm going to be rolling this on my computer, but I've sent the film over to John Adam, who will edit this, and we'll be in sync on this. So here's the deal. This gentleman, Scott
I
Roeder,
the same principles that I would apply to any kind of a homicide investigation, right?
Yes.
And you have to look at...
So right there, you see the red arrow that he's pointing to in the film. There's obviously something there. This gentleman is basically stating on the record that he believes that there's something in the film which shouldn't be there. Some sort of a interdimensional being with a cloaking device. Let's get into this.
The totality of the evidence. And you're going to have debunkers that'll be like, well, but the shadow, it could be this, that, or the other. No.
Now, when he says shadow, it could be this, that, and the other. Look on the right side of the screen. And roll that back, John, just a little bit. Okay, it's basically at 12 seconds into this clip. Look to the right side of the film. Now, the fence is about 6 feet tall, perhaps a little bit taller. Most building codes are allowed a 6-foot-high fence. That's it. This one, hard to say what we're looking at, but let's say it's a little over 6 feet. Look at the heads of the men right next to the fence. So I'm going to say that the fence has been elevated. It's still 6-foot boards, fencing boards, but maybe it's up about a foot. Look at the shadow that comes in on the right-hand side. John, it's right at 12 seconds. Here we go.
And you're going to have debunkers that'll be like, well, but the shadow, it could be this, that, or the other. No, it cannot.
That thing is basically 8 to 9 feet tall.
And I want to open this up. Everything that we've
There's the
done,
red arrow.
I'm opening it up for peer review, okay? Anybody out there with a degree in photography, anybody out there who's a qualified expert witness in video analysis like I am, anybody out there with a master's degree or higher in education in video analysis, video editing, photography, film development, computer animation, and so on and so forth, bring it on. Look at what I've put on my YouTube channel. Look at what Jim and I are going to talk about today. And I'm willing to hear what professionals in my field have to say about this and open it up. And if I'm wrong, I'll admit it. But I think that the evidence at this particular time with what we've seen here is proof. Couple things. That these entities, both in the background and in the foreground behind the fence, are real. They're there. This is not fake. This is not a fraud. I guarantee it. 100%. These two items, these two beings are in the real world environment with the Kenmore family. That's a fact.
So Scott Roeder is stating on the record that these entities, whatever we're looking at, is real. It's not fake. It's not something that's been photoshopped. It's in the original film. I'm going to try to talk to Scott here in the next couple of days if I possibly can, put out some feelers, and hopefully I can get a hold of him and he'll agree to come on the record. Now, in my opinion, these are interdimensional entities which can manipulate space, time, matter, and energy. They are not extraterrestrials from Epsilon Eridani. They are, in fact, the evil ones. They are fallen beings. They are fallen angels, okay? That's what we're looking at. That's why they're 9 feet tall. That's why they're huge. These are the fallen ones. They are not the grays. Whole different deal. Let's continue.
It's an absolute fact. That is there, and the one in the background is there. 100%, beyond any reasonable doubt, these beings are there. Now, the question is, who are they? Where are they from, and what do they want? That's where the conversation goes after this presentation, Jim. The reality is confirmed. They're there. These people have experienced an extraterrestrial reality, interdimensional, whatever.
You'll notice that he says extraterrestrial, interdimensional. So what I find interesting is I have been throwing this up the flagpole literally for 30 years. I'm like a C player. What I mean by that, the A-listers are Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson, all the people over at CNN. Those are all the A-listers. Whoopi Goldberg, you might not like them, but those are the A-listers. They have constant media exposure. Then you've got the B-listers underneath them. Those are the guests that appear on these shows endlessly. It's the same people. It's the same 50 to 100 people that appear. And those are the B-listers. Every now and then a C-lister, I wouldn't even call myself a C-lister, more like a D, even below the C's. Like a C-lister is someone like, well, a B-lister would be like Nick Pope, okay? A C-lister would be someone like Nick Redford. So Nick can get on George Norrie's show just like I can, but do you think we're ever going to go on Tucker Carlson or Sean Hannity or any of these mainline streams? Absolutely not. More than likely never, because it's just they don't want people like us there. They're hand selected. This is why the same 50 to 100 people are constantly recycled in our news media here. Okay? The bottom line is those of us who are actually in the field doing real research, like Scott Roeder here, it's incredible. He's done the deep dive on the video. And I'm going to try to get him on my show because this is really important information. What I do find interesting is now in the dialogue, people are talking about interdimensional. That's my wheelhouse because that's what these entities are, in my opinion. Let's finish this clip and we'll go on to the next one.
Whatever term you want to put on it, but these are non-human intelligent beings that are there in the real world. It's there. This is proof.
So that's it. And I just want to thank Scott for coming on the record. This is the same clip, but this is about 1 minute and 35 seconds long. And it basically says right at 4 seconds, they've sort of done it's basically the same clip, John. But it's in slow-mo, and you see that shadow come in on the right side of the screen right at 20 seconds. So there's really not much new here. It has been edited. They've taken all of Scott Roeder's dialogue out, which is unfortunate. There is some different clippings here, and I'm going to stop that right there. At 39 seconds, John, you can see the outline of an entity that is there. If you look to the left-hand side, you will notice that there's something like a gray, the typical, the elongated black eyes. Again, that would be well over 7 feet tall. And you look on the right side, you'll see it outlined in green. Let's continue. What's interesting about this clip is they've completely taken Scott Roeder out of the, you don't hear any of the dialogue at all. They just show, this is new, allegedly came from a New York Post. So I just want to weigh in on this for a second here. What we're looking at, and I got this from Gary Stearman, when this happened months ago, Gary proposed that maybe they jumped the gun, as it were. In other words, they really weren't supposed to show up and do that, but they did it anyway. And, the people that experienced this were absolutely terrified by the encounter. Look, folks, the supernatural world is real. There's no doubt about that. What happened in Las Vegas, in my opinion, based on what I've been able to see, is real. Once again, the 16-year-old, I think he might be 17-year-old, who shot the video and went on the record with this, has never wavered from his story. He's not making money off of it, okay? He's not looking for fame or fortune. He's basically terrified by what happened to him. These entities are real. They are manifesting in ways that we've never seen. And this is why I've got the poster in the back with our UFO film. We also have 9 and 10. And I get it. Some of you will go, oh, LA is just trying to sell movies. Folks, you need to do your homework. You need to understand that Roswell, the 2 films that we have on Roswell, is ground zero here in America. That's when all this stuff started, 1947. And in our films 9 and 10, What is the Truth, which are now released, you can go to the website, lamarzulli.com, and pick them up. Something's going on. It's either one or the other. They're either benevolent space brothers from Epsilon Eridani or some other, constellation or planet somewhere else, or they are interdimensional entities that have a nefarious agenda. Let me tell you why I believe I'm the latter. When you abduct a 5-year-old and implant them, and we show this in our Watchers film series, we're the only Christian team that's ever taken out an implant. This kid was abducted at 5 years old, and an implant was placed right below his right knee. We removed the implant. There was no entrance wound. No entrance wound. Want to watch that? Best of Watchers, streaming.lamarzulli.net. Time to do your homework. We've done our homework. We've done it for you, so you don't have to go out and do this. There are 30 films. 30 films. 10 of them which talk about UFOs. In the Watchers series, we talk about UFOs. We talk about the complexity of what we're looking at, physical evidence. Folks, there is a physicality to this. Those entities that appeared in this kid's backyard were, in fact, real. Not making this up. Not making this up. They have the ability to manipulate space, time, matter, and energy, which defy our physics as we know them so far. Remember Peter's jailbreak? The angel appears to him in the jail cell. How does that work? He comes through the wall. Jesus, after his resurrection, he comes through the wall, right? Think about it, folks. This is what is coming. This is why I call it the coming Great Deception. All 10 UFO videos are available. lamarzulli.com, lamarzulli.com. I will be at the Prophecy Watchers Conference at the end of the month. I will be speaking 2 times, both on Saturday. My lovely wife, Peggy, will be with us, and we will be doing a deep dive on all of this and so much more. Thanks for watching. Please hit the subscription button. And folks, there's 30 films, 13 and a half books. Number 14, The Rungs on a Disclosure Ladder. I might finish the book next week. It'll go off to our editor, Sonda Allison, who does a remarkable job on all of our work. And our hats are off to her, and then it will be available. We will do a pre-sale like we do with all of our stuff. Do your homework, folks. The late Chuck Missler used to state it pretty much every time he talked. Time to do your homework. There are 10 films. Pop the popcorn, invite your loved ones over. So many people are afraid. They won't even look at it. They don't understand. Ignorance and arrogance is a very deadly combination. I also want to thank Bill Salas, or congratulate Bill Salas for getting a very prestigious, it's not an honorary doctorate, it's a full-blown doctorate award from a university in Louisiana. Just amazing. Thank you for Mark Kahn for helping Bill to get that. If anybody deserves it, it's Bill Salas. He has plowed a field that no one had dared enter it into. Bully for Bill. Thanks, Bill. Congratulations to you, sir. That's it for today, folks. Remember, UFOs are real, burgeoning, not going away. This is the coming Great Deception.
Officials endeavoring to obtain all top flying saucers.
Marcel's own words, it was something that he'd never seen before. Something from another world. In our opinion, Marcel was a patsy.
Just verbal directions, we know what about it.
That his father was telling the truth.
He did in the eye, and he said, it really happened, and he held his hand up just like this. They had 6 fingers, not 5.
He said they looked quite a bit like us.
Do you think your grandfather was a patsy?
100%.
A cover-up by the U.S. military.
Do you believe our government has made contact with intelligent extraterrestrials?
I can't discuss in public setting.
Do we have the bodies of the pilots?
Biologics came to some of these recoveries.
He deliberately obfuscated and they lied to the American people.
When the Pentagon decided to lie about what happened at Roswell.
Because standing 6 feet away, this little being about 3.5 feet tall. She said the nurses who were there during the crash, they're now at a convent.
The first book that Randall wrote, and he said to Jesse that that's not fiction.
But for everybody, I mean, this is a human thing. It's a worldwide changing, life-changing for everyone.
Was certainly not a weather balloon and not something from this earth.